Hey there, folks. Joel and I put a video together the other day talking about Joel's beef with the Gen 6 optic mounting system. Uh, you know, to me, if it works, it works. And we're wondering, like, hey, is this going to be an out of the box optic mounting solution? Is that going to be the play for a Glock? Or am I going to just continue doing what every sensible person I know of does and just get a plate uh, to mount like for the MOS Glock system? Nobody uses the MOS plates. They all go aftermarket. So what is the situation going to be? Now, these like the optic mount setup on these things, it's cut for whatever. It doesn't utilize all the stuff. So on this Delta Point Pro footprint optic, there's not four posts. There's only two, and then I can see why Glock did that because they'd have to cut the whole thing differently. That all makes sense to me. So it's like I understand why people would look at this and they wouldn't feel too good about it. But if it works, it works. And to me, it's going to come down to like if the screws are really good, you are not going to have a problem. Well, here we sit a couple of days later with these Gen 6 Glocks that I've been shooting. This one actually was a loaner yesterday. I loaned it out to a guy while we were doing some training because he could get on that Gen 6 get on the Gen 6 bus and give it a try. Well, not even a whole training day. This optic from O-Sight is already loose. So, like I said, it comes down to the screws, right? Now the O-Sight has, I'll pull this out. You guys like to talk shit about O-Sight, but O-Sight has the most premium, shit on here. Here it is. This is part of what comes in the O-Sight packaging for this optic that I've got here. You can see different options for screws. It gives you the thread pitch. You open these things up, and there's different lengths of screws in here. It's honestly super professional, very nice, like Apple level product packaging. And despite, Joel went through, did all of his nerd stuff, he can pick, this is the right thread pitch and all that stuff. With like half a training day after, torquing it per the directions and everything, this motherfucker is already loose. So, like on this gun, this is going to get probably an Arise plate or some other aftermarket plate, and we'll see how that goes. The Delta Point Pro, I think these screws are pretty beefy in here. Yeah. The Delta Point Pro gun, that is still holding fast. So the way it looks right now is on the Gen 6 Glocks, I'm probably going to end up just getting plates for my guns just to mitigate the risk of having issues like this. It is disappointing. I mean, I think disappointment's the word that just this stuff. I think the Glock solution that comes from the factory will be hit or miss. It'll like some stuff it'll work on, some stuff you're gonna have to do something different. And for me, I'm not gonna try to make those judgments. I'm probably just gonna get plates for all the Gen 6 Glocks that I have coming, unless I get more information or something changes. So a little bit disappointing so far that's not working, but it leaves us in the same place as Gen 5 in my book. Let's see what you guys have to say here on your comments. Ben and Joel videos have become my favorite form of entertainment. Oh my God. Two guys talk about stuff that interests me and giving their honest opinions about them. Yes, honest opinions is important. We focus on that. You just I can say whatever I think, and as long as I actually think that, that's fine. Remember Walther's old optic plates that made everyone mad but worked perfectly fine? Their engineers said everyone is forgetting about the force of friction under a mounted optic, and it isn't just screws taking all the recoil. I'm hoping that's the case with Gen 6, and they'll hold up perfectly fine. I mean, yeah, I hope it works out, but it's not looking good so far. Like the gun with the O-Sight on it, I'm just going to get a plate and quit fucking around and not spend much more time on it. I don't regret buying a 47 and a Gen 5 45 last year. No, nor should you. And it's like, I'm not in a big hurry on the Gen 6 thing. Like, my guns have not been shot that much. because I have perfectly functional Gen 5 guns. So if I'm out, like yesterday was a work day for me. It was like I was shooting a Gen 5 gun just because I have all the bugs ironed out and it's like a very known quantity to me. The Gen 6s, their day will come, but I'm not usually in a hurry to adopt the new gun. All right, I got the CH Precision metal plate just to be safe. I don't trust the plastic plates Glock provided. I like how they put spacers in the front and the back. Yeah, so that's another inherent thing with the design of this cut. So they cut this so you can basically slap anything on there and they give you a few different screw patterns. But again, because it's cut for whatever, there's space in front and behind the optics. Like in the case of this DPP footprint optic, not all of the post holes are used. And it's like, do I understand why Glock cut it this way? Absolutely, I do. Absolutely. They didn't cut it for one thing. You can kind of do what you want with it pretty easily. In most cases, you just use the provided screws you've got, screw it on here, and hopefully it works. That's my hope. Like, hopefully that works. But if you want like a really nice solution where there's not extra space and you can have everything be snug fit and perfectly machined, like you can buy that too. So like I get why they did it. It's just, you know, to me it's like I want it to work really good. See what else you got. What's behind the door? There is no door. It is a green screen, gentlemen. I promise. Wouldn't lie to you. I've got 12,500 rounds on my Glock 17 Gen 6. Used the long Trijicon screws and blue Loctite. 0 issues. That's good. I mean, that's kind of how I felt about like these screws for the Delta Point Pro Optic are really beefy. So it's like, I think this will work. I don't know. Not shocked the O-Sight stuff is not working. I know exactly what Joel is talking about with the grip girth because I also felt like I had less room for my support hand, which is weird because lined up next to each other. Yeah, you start comparing Gen 5 to 6 here. The grip looks about the same, but something in the geometry is making my firing hand fingers cover up more of the support side of the gun. I can't explain it. I'll stick to my Gen 3 and Gen 5. Yeah, so now we have this little, I guess a little palm swell in here and a slight contour change to the grips that if I think most people like this better, to me it feels fine. But if you don't like it better, keep using the Gen 5. That makes sense to me. Let's see what else you guys are asking about. I'd love an engineer's input on this. I imagine as long as the base of the optic is compressing to the gasket, the forces are sufficiently spread out. Yeah, probably. But we would need to ask an engineer. I like the new mounting system. Directly mounts the optic to the slide. No plate adding height. I just want to say, like, I agree with this. I like what they've done when Gen 6 better than Gen 5. But still, like, it's not a super robust solution, let's say. And people like me are probably going to want that. No adding height, no extra screws to hold the plate in place. One less fail point. I'm sure someone will come up with a titanium replacement gasket that could be better versus the plastic gasket. All right, so I just want to say, like, what I'm saying here isn't about the gasket being plastic. So again, like, take a look at this optic, the way it's mounted on here. If I get like a really Gucci aftermarket plate, like from a Rise, it's going to be snug. The optic will click into the plate. So it'll be machined for the optic. Okay, that'll click in, and then all 4 of the post holes are going to be used with machined metal, and that thing will click in there. Just like the fact that this thing is like that the gasket is plastic is kind of the least of it. As I'm sitting here looking at it, like, again, it's not using all the support holes. The optic's not getting supported on either side. The way they cut this for whatever the fuck, so that stuff is not going to happen, right? There wouldn't be support there because they're not going to, machine it that tight for obvious reasons. So, like, I get why they did what they did. I like it better than Gen 5 just on the face of it. But again, probably I'm going to get a more robust solution. Definitely for the one with the O-Sight on it. That's just going to have to. You screwed us when you read the instructions. Yeah, it's true. I did actually read the instructions on mounting the optic on the Glock pistols. Just because I was curious, like, what are they telling us to do here? And it's basically use the gasket they say, and then you use the provided hardware from the optic manufacturer and, you know, put it all together. The 17 definitely has a soft recoil impulse. I haven't had any issues with my optic yet, and I haven't even used Loctite yet because I haven't decided what's going on there permanently. Fair enough. I like the palm swell. I feel the trigger needs minor improvements, and Timney has already dropped their Gen 6 triggers, so I may get one. I just don't like the Timney housing part of the set. Yeah, okay. Blah, blah, blah. They figured out a better reset method. Yeah, so I think that's one guy. Basically, people are figuring out the Gen 6 where they're like, yeah, I mean, there's some changes here. And again, I wouldn't rush to Gen 6. I got them just to be annoying to people. But you don't need to rush to it. Like, people will figure it out over the next few months. All right, Ben's comment at the end of the video about what gives out first, the vortex dot or the spacer. I would say the screws. But yes, which will last longer? The optic itself or the way the optic is fixed to the gun? What a shame about the vortex dots. I have one on my 47 that doesn't get shot the most because I want to support an American company plus awesome warranty. Okay. But I rather known it and not need it and need to use it every few. What the fuck is he talking about? I think it's just like a lot of people have had the vortex dots go down. That is true, but the warranty's good and they replace them. And I think they've made some subtle changes to them, so they should not be going down as much. But yes, there's certainly will be fun to see if the optic lasts longer than the screws. All right. Well, that's it for me. There's your Gen 6 optic mounting update. A Rise plate incoming, I think, for one of my guns at least. And we'll see how that goes.